Hey everyone, this is Two-Tailed Derby here, and reporting to you live from my little studio apartment room here. So, you might see that my room's a mess back here, but I'm about to get to that. Um, I'm actually going to use that as a point here in this discussion video. Um, so, OG had come into my stream talking about how he'd like to hear me talk about motivation and whatnot. Well, here's the thing for me is that I struggle with it every day, and I've probably been struggling it ever since I pretty much went into the military. Even before that, probably in high school, of people talking about what do you want to do with your life, what do you want to make your one hobby or I'm sorry, what your one career basically for the rest of your life. And it's honestly like in this, how do you even choose honestly? So you see in the back, I have a bunch of crap back there. The DDR pads I haven't felt like putting back, the bike that I never ride, the Xbox back there that I never play, PS4 every so often. Now I'm just getting back into it to play Monster Hunter World, which is probably what I'm going to do afterwards. Um, it's all pretty much signs of me struggling with what I want to even do, or me distracting myself with what I feel like I should do. So, you know, that I like to try and draw, and I like to make some music every so often. I did one stream on it, and I actually do enjoy kind of making music, but at the same time, I also figure, why do I even do this? Like, what is the point of me actually making music? Or because the way that I do it is I compile tunes together, you know, like I just or sound bits because I use Magic's Music Maker basically. So it's the one program that I actually feel like using for music making. When I try FL Studio, I've actually tried FL Studio. Um, I tried to get Ableton to work, but I think it's a pay program basically because it's professional. But Magic's Music Maker is basically the only one that I've used, and recently I've wanted to actually use it for making background music, and eventually I want to make like an animation movie. And I know that as far fetched as it is with the amount that I actually draw, I actually don't like. There's not really a point for me to do that. So at this point in time, right now, it's just that I don't have too much time, and I kind of want to use it to myself, you know, because when you see artists, there's commentators that are like, oh my god, give me the next page, or with musicians like, oh my god, give me the next song. Well, with people in their real life, they don't want to just make music for you, like, or they don't want to just make art for you, or animations, or games, even with game companies. It's not how it works. People have personal lives, and it's really hard for them to just go through their normal lives doing what they do because you know they're expected to work with a team or even by themselves, just basically making animations or art for you, and then the rest of it is Patreon exclusive stuff, and maybe even pay movies, because you know how with Patreon and donations the way it is, it's basically just you know you pay and then you'll get it earlier than everyone else. And that's just, their way of getting money instead of having you pay for an entire product that you don't know is going to be good or not. So instead, it'll be small donations, which is a great idea. So instead of paying for a full movie, you don't know if it's going to be good or not. So, anyways, getting to my streams, you'll see in like signs of it, like recently of how I don't smile much. Basically, it's like in the back of my mind, I'm thinking maybe I don't want to really be doing this. Maybe I want to actually do something productive. Maybe I don't want to just waste my time playing a video game all the damn time. But at the same time, I really have fun with it because there's actually a huge community of people that actually want to, like, share. the same experience with you, or they want to help you learn a certain game. Especially with fighting games, it's like they want to help you learn how to play the game, and then maybe in that sense you'll have fun with it. In that sense, it's also like how it is with art. I've been trying to get on Picardo. You know how I use Restream? I actually stream on Picardo. I've been trying to be there more active there. Um, not per se than YouTube or Twitch, but just like more active there, you know? So I want to actually spread my content out so that I can actually be productive in a way of making art or music. And I've really been struggling with even trying to start that because for one, I do have the ideas. Like I have sort of an idea, and that's the problem. I only have sort of an idea. I don't have a concrete like vision that I want to make real. Even with my OC, like I had a bunch of stories planned out, and I still do. And I feel like I want to get working on that, but at the same time, when it's all said and done, it's almost like who's even gonna care about this? And is it even gonna look good in the end? And if I make the soundtracks and animations finally, because that's gonna take an eternity, then I put out some teasers and then I make some maybe fake promises because I'll try and work on it and then it'll probably never get finished. Or I'll just do like a small scene and I'll never actually do the entire like movie slash comic. It'll be like a short cartoon if anything. Because making just a cartoon by yourself is freaking is a long process basically. Like for an example, there is this thing called Aftertale, and this person made basically a Mystery Skulls parody of Ghosts. They just recently finished it, and it's been years since they started it, and they've been struggling in their lives just to help them survive on food and water alone, and having a roof over their head. So it's kind of similar, kind of not, because I actually have like a stable job because I'm basically military reserves. So if you couldn't tell by the hair, this isn't just like a style choice. It kind of is, kind of isn't, but it's something where I don't know if everyone knows here that I used to be active duty military, and then in my time I was struggling with, well, this is a full-time job. What am I going to do in my spare time? I've been trying to draw, make music and everything, and then I've been trying to be active to fit military standards. So recently you can see that I've been doing a lot more Step Mania. Well, that's not just because I want to do it for fun, it's also because I want to stay in shape. And it's been hard trying to do, especially military standards. And even though I'm on a profile for not running right now, like when I do the fitness test, it'll be walking, push-ups, sit-ups, and ab circumference. So they'll measure your waist. That's the entire test, and that's that every 3 months to every year. If you get a 90, you don't have to take the test for a year, which is really good because that's what I got last time somehow, even though I had a walk profile. It's complicated. I don't even know how it worked. So basically, I've been trying to stay in shape in some way, some form. I went to the community center recently to try and swim, and then I realized that my anxiety kind of flared up with social interactions and stuff, and it was just like, what do I even do here? I don't even want to swim in front of all these people, especially because I got a gut on me now. I used to not have such of a gut, but it was still not like 4 6-pack abs, nothing like that. Lean at best, but hardly. So with that, I stopped going, and I just realized it wasn't fun, and it was a hassle just to get there and then to get changed and then to shower, get into your trunks, and then afterwards you got to shower again and then take off the trunks, put everything on while you're still kind of wet. Um, Even though you try and dry off as much as possible, then you'll have a wet towel because the only thing you can dry is your trunks. So after that's all said and done, then you're finally done with your workout, maybe. And it's nice, when you actually get there. It's nice because it's easier on my knees, and I really have bad knees. It's not like um, something that's been prescribed to me, like some sort of vitamin or whatever for my knees. It's just I have bad knees. I always have, and me trying to, it's been steadily getting worse, and me trying to actually run and do all these things. It's harder as you get older. And I'm only 24, and for me, that's a really big problem, and it's a really bad sign that if I don't do something now to strengthen my knees, then I'll never get better. So, with that, it's like, what do you do? You know, push ups, sit ups, running, all that sort of stuff. And so, with all that said and done, there's this one thing I also wanted to talk about, and it's called dysphoria. Actually, let me look this up. I was actually planning to do it earlier, but now I forgot. So, basically, somebody had told me about, or actually, this was for themselves. They have dysphoria in a Discord group that I'm in, and there's apparently a lot of people that vent in there about their lives being shit, which, I can understand that. There's a lot of things they can complain about nowadays, but there's a lot of things that they can't help. It's mental deficiencies and, their struggle with their gender identity. That's more of a choice, but I'd say, they have a right to that choice. You know what I mean? Because, maybe they want to be another gender, but they don't really have a choice. But in this case, it's more of mental problems of anxiety, depression. What else? This was mostly coming from just one person too, and it was it's mostly the anxiety thing, and it's PTSD too. There's actually people that don't go to war that get PTSD, contrary to popular belief. But back to me about talking about myself not smiling as much. It's also a little bit of dysphoria, and what that is by dictionary definition, according to I want to say the source is maybe Wikipedia or something like that, but it's basically a state of unease or generalized dissatisfaction with life. Now, there's not much that I really want to do in life, but there's also a lot that I feel like I can get out of life that I don't feel like I can or really have an urge to do. So it's like I feel like I've done everything that I wanted, and I've just kind of been sitting here just figuring out why I'm even doing what I do or what I even want to do. So that's my dysphoria for myself. And me just trying to live the way I do, it gets boring. This room is empty about 99% of the time. I've had one friend here that I've hung out with, and he's pretty cool, honestly. He's also another brony. He's also a big fan of Ruby, so he was cosplaying as Crow from Ruby, and we talk about a lot of stuff, and we play some games. He sees me play Step Mania, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And like, how do you even do that, and all sorts of stuff. And for me, it's just normal because I've done it as a kid. Step Mania, DDR specifically, has been something that I've played for at least 15 years on and off. Like, if I find DDR or Pump It Up, I'm gonna try and play it at an arcade. Back to what I was saying, it gets really empty and lonely here, and the amount of sounds that I hear outside is everyone else around in the apartment. And, just earlier I was hearing dogs and barking and kids playing and all sorts of stuff. And finally, spring has sprung a little bit. There was snow just recently, which was crazy. The cold fronts are getting nuts, but it gets empty. And it's me just trying to keep myself preoccupied with all the things that I have around in my room. So, when I said earlier about everything that I spend my money on with the bike, the DDR pads, the the Xbox there on the thing. There's an Xbox One, and there's a Wii U in the back, and an Xbox 360, and the PS4 is on the other side, and I have a Wii in my closet. It's all part of me just basically wasting my time, not knowing what I want to do, and distracting myself from what I should do. And dysphoria, I feel like, has been the actual cause of that. So, I don't know, you know, I've been trying to keep myself motivated, and streaming has been my way of keeping myself motivated. Goes along with music, other video game OSTs, video games in general have also been a motivation, even though they've been a distractor. Um, Friends, streams, Discord calls, all sorts of stuff. Skype as well, even. Um, I also have the DeviantArt Tumblr and everything that I've been trying to keep that as a motivator. You know, that I see all the kind comments there whenever I post art or if I ever post art. Um, Even soundtracks, I've been trying to keep on soundtracks. So basically, those have all been things that I've been trying to keep myself going in life. So, with all that said, I'd like to hear your opinions on, say, what keeps you motivated, or do you also struggle with motivation like I do? Do you maybe feel anxiety or dysphoria like I do, or depression or anything like that? Because it is a very common thing. There's no shame in it. It's a very common thing that you see in life. You know, there's a lot of people that feel like they need therapists or they don't get therapeutic help, and it is really sad. And you know, there's a lot of people that I talk to where it's very serious to me, and it hurts me every time I see somebody that doesn't get the help that they need because of money problems. And phew, I don't even want to go into money right now, because that just, when they say the money makes the world go round, they are not kidding with that. And it's as sad as it is. It's the brutal truth. Nobody's going to hold your hand when it comes to finally being an adult and taking responsibility for yourself. As sad as that is, and it hurts me every time. It hurts me every time I see somebody else struggle with it, and even me, I still struggle with it. I'm still trying to get a college degree, for Christ's sake, and the Air Force degree too. So, well, there you go. I'm in the Air Force, so there's another one for you. Air Force Reserves. So, anyways, leave your comments in the description below if you want to. I'll be happy to respond to them. And I know it's a very common thing for everyone to be struggling with motivation and what their purpose in life. You know, I struggle with it too. I absolutely share in your despair in that. So, anyway, thanks for tuning in into this discussion slash rant, because I tend to go off the rails on things like these, and you know, as much as I try and remain neutral, it's just kind of how he is. But it's whatever. How I is, yeah. All right. So I'll see you guys later. Peace, and shout outs to OG. Go follow OG. I'll put his channel in the description below. So thank you, and peace out, y'all. I'll be back later, hopefully streaming before I leave for my reserve job, and I'll probably be moving next month. So that's a thing to keep a lookout for. If you just see me start missing, it's maybe probably because I'm moving and I'm getting all my stuff in a U-Haul truck with the help of my family. So yeah, peace out. Be back with some Asian food, hopefully. Bye.